I want to focus a little bit on childcare, and I appreciate in your submitted remarks that you pointed out that the FY 2025 budget is focusing on efforts to make childcare more affordable. But for the past year, what I have been hearing as I visit installations across Virginia as late as Friday when I was at Fort Gregg Adams is affordability is only part of the issue, and for many of these installations, it's the lack of sufficient workforce to meet the demand. And so I wanted to ask if you could elaborate what the DoD is doing to help increase the workforce, including making the ability to do background checks a little bit faster, because I hear that seems to be the long pole in the tent.
We are doing things to speed up the amount of time that it takes to conduct background checks, and you are right, that has been an issue of concern for a number of people for quite some time. We're also doing things to incentivize workers working for us in the child care arena. If you're an employee, for example, if you want your child to be enrolled in that child care center, we've reduced the cost of for the first child by 50%. And there are other things that we're doing to try to make it more attractive for us more attractive for people to come work for us. But there's stiff competition, as you know, in this area, and we've just got to continue to do more to attract the right people to join us and stay with us. And we've seen some improvement, but there's more to be done yet. So.
Thank you. I know this is not just a problem for the DoD, it's a problem in the civilian world as well, but if there are more resources or assistance that we can provide, please let us know. On mental health and suicide prevention, these are also difficult issues we continue to grapple with. In September of 2023, you signed off on a memo with over 100 actions to prevent military suicide, targeting 5 primary lines of effort. And can you tell us today how the department is beginning to implement those directives and how we can be supportive?
Well, we are implementing them, and of course, I am personally involved in this because it's really important to me, and I routinely engage service leadership in terms of what they're doing and and how they're making healthcare or mental health care more available to their troops, and so this remains a focus for the department from the top to the bottom. But it's still a very, competitive market. There's just not enough healthcare providers, mental health care providers, and the demand is pretty significant. We've done some things like make telehealth care available, and that's helped the people who are working and living in remote areas. And again, there's much more that we need to do, but it will remain a very competitive market because there's just not enough providers out there in the civilian world or in the military. So.
Thank you. We had the opportunity to speak with leadership for AFRICOM in a posture hearing earlier following the military coup in Niger, and since then we have seen a further weakening of the American position in Africa as our troops have been ordered to leave Chad as well as Niger, 2 nations that are vitally important to our counterterrorism efforts. And you may not have time to answer this, so for the record, if you could provide how the department is working to prevent similar troop evictions from our African partners and what the department is doing to strengthen ties with our partners in Africa. Would love to have that submitted for the record.
Okay. We will submit it for the record.
Thank you. And finally, I would just say after my visit to Fort Gregg Adams, one of the challenges I think with meeting recruitment goals is the fact that particularly since COVID, the inability to be more further integrated in the communities. And Fort Gregg Adams is a good example where you have 2 military museums, a great new exhibit on the 6888, and Black women who participated in the war effort, and yet civilians have a hard time getting on campus, to see them, if there's anything we can do to help you meet that balance between providing security at the gate, but
Generally,
allowing
time's
more
expired.
people from